Hi there, it's David John, the Resourceful Coach, and what we're going to look at today is guaranteed draw. How can we give you a guaranteed draw? And we're going to look at 4 drills that I use for my own game, but also give to my lessons that will give you a chance. And the first 3 are really good drills to work on. The 4th is seeing how well you're doing. It's a little bit of a game to play with, but the good thing is you can take these ideas to the practice ground, work on them, take them to the course, work on that idea. So first things first, what is a draw? Okay, so for me as a right-handed golfer, a draw is a shot that would start, say, right of the intended target and would shape in the air from right to left back towards the intended target. If you're a left-handed golfer, here standing this way, ball would start left and come back to the target. So it's really important to understand it's a shot that would start off the line of the target but come back to the target. But the main thing I want you to get today is an understanding as a right-handed golfer that I'm starting to get that right to left shape. That's the key thing. Even if you overdo it a little bit, but you start to see the idea of the shot, that's what we're looking for. So let's start with drill number 1. Drill number 1 is what I call the baseball swing. And it's really easy. And I find this one on its own probably sorts out more problems than anything else, and we get the desired result that we want. And you think about it, when somebody swings a baseball bat, because there is no face to the bat in a sense, it's just a round end. So we're going to swing this club the opposite way round. You feel naturally what you do is you swing around your body, come back and you rotate as you go through that. And the key thing is what you're doing, because there isn't a face like you have on a golf club where you're trying to square it up, you know you've got 360 degrees of area that you can physically hit off. That's absolutely fine, it will give you the result. Now the second thing I find when you work on the baseball swing is you also then, when you get to here, there's no thought of coming this way back. When we're hitting a golf ball off the ground, it seems as if the brain is, I've got to get back on line to where I want to hit the ball. And that's where we see most golfers then start to come over the top. But when you see somebody swing a baseball bat, they don't get here and suddenly swing over here, okay? They're swinging in here because they want to maximize the energy and the power and the rotation around their body to create the desired result you want. So this drill, what we're saying, think of it like a baseball bat. So stand upright, swing it around your waist. So you feel like you're swinging it around, sort of like your belt, around your stomach area, around that area, and you'll feel yourself do 2 things. 1, you'll maintain the angle of the shaft. 2, it'll feel like everything's rotating through. Now, once you've done that a few times, change the club around. So as I said, you had the club the wrong way around to start with, turn it around, and just be aware of what's happening with the club face. You'll just see, as you're coming back, stay on that line, you'll see the club face rotating with you. And that's what we need to feel. That's really important to understand, that that club face is rotating with you. And this is where I get golfers go, oh, how's it going to come back square? Well, that's the importance of your setup. That's the importance of aiming the club correctly at the start and holding the club correctly at the beginning. If you're doing those 2 things, straight away there's a greater chance that everything will come back to square when you strike the ball. But what's happening is the club is rotating around your body, and as I said, what that's doing is maximizing power. We want that rotation. Okay, I always use the analogy of if you had square tires on your car, if you're trying to come in square and push through, there's no power. Have square tires on your car, it's a lot of energy to make your car go forward. That's why you have round tires. So think of your golf swing as being a round movement. It's a rotational movement around your body. Now, we're looking at that. So this drill, there's our baseball swing. All you're going to do differently when you hit a golf ball is from there, you tilt over through the hip joint, and now you're going to pivot around that position. So you're going to do the same motion. And what will start to happen if you do that is you will start to get the feeling that you're coming nicely from that inside line. So you're coming from in here back to the ball, and then you can rotate through the ball, and that's what you're starting to get. So that's something you can do in the back garden. That's drill number 1. You don't even have to hit golf balls. Okay, go in the back garden, start with the club the wrong way round, pivot around your waist, around your belt area, and get that feeling of that movement. Turn the club around. Just be aware, a little bit what I call an awareness drill, just be aware of the club face. Let it rotate. You're generating power, you're increasing the chance you're going to bring that club face back square. So that's drill number 1. Do it at home, you can do it at the range. Be careful at the range, because obviously a range is designed more for the club to go this way, not so much that way. So make sure you got enough room if you go to the range doing that. But as I said, that's a drill you can do in the back garden. And why I'm taking time on this, because that's the drill I find makes the biggest difference. It's amazing, just that simple baseball drill makes a difference. Okay, so now we're going to go into drill number 2. This one might be a little bit tougher to do, okay? But all I want you to do is take that idea of drill number 1 and go and practice off a lie that's ball above your feet. Anytime the ball is above your feet, again, it's going to encourage the golf club to go. Let's say that's its natural position as it sits on the ground. As soon as the ball is higher, the shaft becomes shallow. So see how it's getting closer to the baseball swing. Now I always remember when I was younger, I went to a trick show. There's a guy called Noel Hunt, and he was brilliant. But he always had a little bit of his trick show where he'd put the ball on tees up here. And he'd ask normally the club champion, the ladies club champion, the men's club champion, and maybe the captains to come out and have a go and hit off the tee. And these tees you could see have been taped together, because what would happen is these players would come down steep and chop into it. They weren't maintaining that angle that they've got. So this is the importance. When you play off this lie, you have to keep that slightly shallower plane. You have to keep that in. Now, if I've used the baseball drill, and now I do the same thing here, and just let it rotate. When I get here, let my arms come down, rotate around that point. It's going to promote that shallower swing, that drawing swing. That's what we're after. There, through. Okay, and that ball's gone down the line I want it to start on, and it probably moved about a yard in the air. Didn't do a lot, but that's okay. All right, because what I can then think is, before I play the next shot, let's use the first drill. There's my baseball swing idea, and now let's see if we can get a little bit of shape. I want to bring it back to the white post down there. So I'm setting up. That last shot was a good swing, just didn't rotate the club enough. This time, lovely. There we go, got a nice little bit of shape on that, and that's coming all the way back to my post. Hitting a 7-iron there. It's landed in these winter conditions around about 150. Really happy with that. So there are our first 2 drills. Baseball swing. I'm going to keep going back to it. It's the one that makes the difference. Number 2, start to practice on a ball above your feet. Because if you do, and you start to come in too steep, you're going to bury that club into the ground. You will notice straight away you've done it wrong. Okay, if you have the facilities to do it, I don't know if the camera will pick this up, but it's even steeper here. So from there, really work on it. And again, get that feeling you're swinging more, even you get it about knee height where the ball is, really trust that idea. And if you do it, I'll guarantee through those 2 drills, you will start to get that draw that we're looking for. So here's our third drill. It's what we call the back to target drill. And it's a little bit more severe. It's for the guys who are not getting the idea with the sort of baseball swing and the ball above their feet. I will go to this drill. And it's going to create really 2 different ways that we're swinging the club. The angle that we swing the club back on, and then the downswing angle that we're going to bring it down on. Okay, so we've got 3 sticks here. We're just going to sort of put these down on the ground. First stick that we're looking at, let's just make sure I'm getting this correct with the camera, is going pretty much straight down the area there where we want to go. So that would be a nice straight shot. That would be the line that I'd be hitting it on. I'm now going to put a second one, which is going to start with the alignment of my feet. And I'm going to point that one a lot further to the right. And this is what a lot of people do when they physically get set up. They think, well, if I aim right, that creates an inside path, and then physically from there I can rotate the club. And that can work. I'm not saying that doesn't work. Actually, I don't think I need that third stick. But what I tend to find a lot of people, if they do this every time they set up to the ball, because you feel you're aiming right, you can end up coming down very, very steeply, and it doesn't actually solve the problem. Okay? So what we're looking for here is we're using the stance to encourage the idea of the path of the downswing. Remember what we said at the start of the video, the ball needs to start right. So the first and most important thing I would say to a golfer is understand that path needs to be going right of the intended target. That's the important thing that we're looking for. If you're doing that, and then relative to that you close the face, now you're going to see a ball move from right to left. So that's the key bit, that's the psychological thing I need you to do. Actually, we will use that third stick. So what I'm going to do now is put the third stick down parallel to where I'm intending to sort of hit the ball, where my alignment and my feet are. So this is actually more where I'm going to hit the ball. This is parallel for my feet, and this one is going to encourage us to sort of create the path of the downswing. But how I'm going to do that to start with is, as it suggests, the more I go this way, the drill is called the back to target drill. You can see how my back is starting to face the intended target more. I'm not fully there, okay, because obviously it feels like you're going to hit it 90 degrees the wrong way. So we're probably going about 30, 40 degrees, but it starts to feel as if my back is facing the intended target. So now what I've got to do, and this is the key thing, you take this very slowly. This is really important. Number one, we've lined the feet up with the yellow stick, which is going right. But what I've got to feel is my backswing is going to go back on the line I want to hit it on. So I'm actually going to go at what feels very steep to my setup. And then I'm going to come down shallower, down parallel to where my feet are. So hopefully what you can see there on the camera, the swing relative to the backswing, I'm coming down a lot shallower into the ball. So that would promote that idea. You can see I'm going that way. I'm going out to the right. And if we probably looked, definitely when I was sort of growing up and learning golf, to encourage that power, we were all encouraged to come down shallower, because we knew then if you got the rotation, that would be far more powerful than somebody slicing the ball. So that's what we were encouraged to do. So you're starting at that angle. So here's the first thing I want you to do. And again, make sure you've got a big enough area. So you're going to a practice ground, you're going to the driving range to do this. So feet parallel to the yellow stick, aiming me a good 30 degrees right of where I want to go. Number one, what I want to feel is I swing up parallel to where I want to go. So I'm swinging on that line, but I'm coming down now parallel to my feet. And this first ball, if you do it, I'm happy. We go there, there, and I've hit that golf ball deliberately dead straight right. Now the reason why I've done that is because that's my path of swing. And remember what we said at the start, the path of the swing, if you don't get that, it doesn't matter what you do with the club face. If you're always swinging left of target, and you close the face, you're now going to hit a big pull draw, which turns into the equivalent of a hook. Okay, you're going to miss the target way left. So if you want to hit a draw, you've got to understand that swing has to be swinging right of target. And then as you've done, let's say half a dozen of those, here's the second part. And it's a little bit back to the baseball swing idea. What did we say? Well, when we come through here, we rotate. So we're keeping those consistencies. So feet parallel to the stick going out to the right. Backswing now goes up here, shallow it off. As I said, this is a more severe drill, and as I go through the ball, I now want to close the face. And now what I saw with that ball is I started to see it curve a little bit right to left. Now, unless I close that club face dramatically, I'm not going to get it back to my target on that line, and that is absolutely fine. All I want you to see and sense is the swing coming down shallower, the club face rotating, and you're starting to see that right to left shape. Now, as you do it, and you get more comfortable with it, and now you think, well, I want it to come back to the target, you've got two options. The first option I'd say I don't really want you to do. I know I'm going to tell you to do it, but you can close the face more. But that's the fun of it. Because if you're having the fun with it, and you suddenly think, well, I've got to bend it round a tree, you might start to get 20, 30, 40 yards of movement in the air. And that's a lot of fun to do that. So that's okay. All right. But what we're going to do now is the stick that's pointing me miles right, I'm just going to half it. I'm just going to reduce that. So that now brings my stance back. Not square, but it's still a little bit to the right, but not as much. And what it'll feel like now, I'm not making such a big loop, but I'm still making that what feels like steep going up, shallow coming down. And then from there, if I rotate the club on that position, yeah, now I get the draw back to my target. Okay, and amazingly, I mean, I've played this probably a yard ahead of where I did the drills before. I've hit that really softly, but with that shape, it's gone within probably 2 yards of the one that felt a really nice strike with what I'd call the ball above the feet stance. So you can see very little effort, but what it's doing, it gets me feeling that shallower swing, but it stores the energy up. Okay, this is a really big thing. It keeps the wrist cock. The wrist then uncock back down at the bottom of the arc, and I generate the power that I want through the ball. And it's great fun when you get it, okay? If you are somebody who's coming over the top, the likelihood is you're going to get rid of that angle. So this allows you, when you get here and you feel that drop, look how it's keeping the angle. If I come this way, you can see I go up there and then let it drop. I've still got that 90-degree angle. I can now use that at the bottom to give me energy and power, and it feels effortless. That's the great thing about it. Okay, let's do one more of those. So we've now, as I said, reduced it. We started with the back 30 degrees, we're now only probably 10 or 15 degrees. But use the sticks, get yourself set up. Imagine going back that way. Still feels steep, but it's not as shallow, but it's still fair. And this will be closer to what we're looking for. When we do the last drill, it will all come together. So there, through. Just be honest, I got a little bit of turf before the ball, but I still saw the ball curve right to left. And because I got a little bit of turf, I didn't get the club face so cleanly on the ball, so I probably got half the amount of shape. But what was great about it is I still got the idea of the shot. That's the important thing. I didn't suddenly look at it and go, well, that was nowhere near it. I still saw the right to left. So that should be encouraging, especially if you're a slicer and you see any movement from right to left. Give yourself a mental pat on the back. Go to yourself, great, I'm starting to get it. Even if it's like that, not enough, or start to overdo it, at least you're starting to see the right idea. And that's the priority. That's what these drills will do. They're drills. They're changing your skill pattern to the one that we want. Okay, we've got one more drill to do. Let's go through that. So here's our fourth and final drill. And what I want you to do, go to the practice ground, and you've all got alignment sticks, and just position an alignment stick approximately about 6-7 paces in front of you on the line that you want the ball to end up. Now I've put an umbrella in today because that just makes it a little bit easier to see on the camera. We'll get rid of those sticks. But anything down there that gives you the idea of where you want the ball to start. And this is a little bit of drill. I'd sort of say you're creating your own sort of launch monitor system without paying the money for it. And what you're looking to do here is see one key thing to start with. Can I start the golf ball right of the umbrella or the alignment sticks, whatever you're putting down? And then number two, ultimately, to make it fun, as I said, this is a fun drill, relative to that umbrella, can I start it right? And then if I watch it land down the other end of the practice ground, can it land back on the target or even end up left? Now, I know we're looking at a draw and we said start right and come back to target. But I'm always a massive believer that if you slightly overdo what we want you to do, you can always calm it down. If you never achieve it, if you're just hitting the ball out to the right, there's no right to left shape, you're not really achieving what we want. If it keeps going left to right, you're definitely not achieving what we want. So now what you've got to do, you've got to put the other drills together. Now, the big thing, I'm playing off a flat lie here. People will pick up on the video, they go, oh, you're playing a ball above the feet. I'm not. This is a flat lie, but the practice ground sits dramatically right to left. So please understand, this is not me playing off a ball above my feet lie, which would make it easier to draw. This is a flat lie. It's just the practice ground severely does slope right to left. So that's why the camera looks that way. So what am I looking to do? So number one, let's look at the back to target drill. See if I can use that a little bit. So the first thing, encourage myself to feel that I am aiming a little bit right of the umbrella. Okay, that's the key thing. That's what I'm doing there. Now, second thing from there, can I trust that and commit to that line and now feel that I can rotate the club around that position? So I'm going to use that idea. And I may even, before I do it, and you'll see, you look at Justin Rose working on his swing, he's actually working on a slightly different thing. But you'll see him get to here and he's working on his swing really slowly and feeling what he's doing. Do the same for yourself. If you find that back to target drill works, feel that. Feel a little bit of a loop. Okay? Now, people sort of say to me, I don't want a loop in my swing, and I go, that's fair enough, but these are drills to get you out of that loop. That's the loop I don't like. That's the loop I look at and I go, amateur golfers, you're going to struggle. So this is all about helping you to promote that draw. Some are a little bit more severe than others. So visualize I'm aiming a little bit right of the umbrella. That's giving me a focus point. Swing down that line. Now hit the draw. And what I'm looking at as I look at the umbrella now in front of me, and if I come back to the line I hit it on, the ball has ended up bang on the line I wanted to, but that ball, I would have said, was out here. Straight away, it's a little bit like, as I said, a launch monitor system saying, look, you must have swung right of the path. You've got to have done, because the ball has started there. If the ball then, as mine did, curve back, then the club face relative to the swing path, this is the key thing we're saying, must have been pointing left. So the swing is right of target, the club face is left of that path, that's what's promoted the drawing shape. Now, if you want the science behind it, however many degrees you swing right of the intended target, you want the club face to be approximately about 60% back to the target. So we'll make it easy to understand. If you swung 10 degrees right of target, the club face needs to be 6 degrees left of that path. Now amazingly, that's still 4 degrees open to the target, but remember it's 6 degrees left of the path, and that's what's going to cause the shape. It's the relative swing to path. So let's do it again. So get rid of that little bit of mud on my club face. I'm putting more mud on there. And still do the same thing. Have that mental picture, start a little bit right, have my little mini looping swing, creating that feeling there. From there now, trust it, rotate through the ball. Okay, now, interesting that one. Okay, so that one I'd say, through my peripheral vision, that ball started probably on here. Okay, I still think it was right, but I would say only about a degree. I had the same amount of curve, so what happened there, it missed left of target. But that's okay, because here's the first thing we said right at the very start. See the ball curve right to left. So I've achieved my goal. What I didn't do, I didn't quite commit to swinging enough of that path to start it right of the umbrella. It must have still been a little bit right, but it wasn't as much as the one before. So that ball would have probably still held on to the green, but it would have been left side of the green. Okay, so let's learn from it. Really get that image of there. And if I'm honest, I was probably a little bit more conscious of rotating the club face rather than the path. And that's okay. As you're going through these shots, you find one bit's a bit easier to do than the other, that's okay. You just got to develop that skill. Right, let's do another one. Let's do another 3. So there, feel like I'm aiming a little bit right at the post, the umbrella. There's my idea. Rotate through. There. Through, lovely, that's the one. Started nicely right, it's coming back. But what I'm pleased with all 3 balls, they've all had a right to left shape. So through the drills that I've done, I'm getting the result that I want. Okay, but it's practice. I always remember watching something with Tiger Woods, and he said he worked on something in his swing. It took him well over a year to start to feel comfortable with it. So 5 balls isn't going to be enough. Okay, you need to understand, yeah, I've got to put a little bit of time into this if I want to get it right. Now, that's the first way we said we can aim a little bit right. Now, let's see if I can make a swing if I aim square on, and I'm going to deliberately make a bigger loop. My path will still be out to the right, but can I do it from a squarer stance? Yes, I can. And again, by being squarer, it actually made me have to make a bigger loop, because imagine if I was aiming left and I want to hit it right, I've got to do that. Okay, so the more I'm already aiming there, I don't have to do it so much. So it's finding your way, and I think the important thing is finding a way that you feel it makes me do it. It makes me feel that. But remember, these are drills. But if you find that the drill works, you look at Jim Furyk. He would have been given a drill when he was younger, and he went up here, round here, down here. He's doing what we're doing, but probably 5 to 10 times more than we're encouraging you to do. The drill worked so well, it became his swing. So if you get the results, it doesn't really matter how you swing. The nice thing is, when I go and pick these balls up in a minute, they're all in a nice group. So there's not really a lot of walking today, which is nice. Okay, final one. Square on. Imagine the loop. Have the fun, start it right of the umbrella, see it curve left. Yep, not so much curve, but it is curving a little bit, but I'd be on the right edge of a green if I was hitting into a green. And what's interesting, maybe because I'm loosening up a bit and getting more confident with it, the ball's flying probably 10 yards further than when I started. So I hope you've enjoyed today's sort of drills that we've gone through. It's all about, as I said, if you do them, I'll guarantee you'll draw the ball. Remember that draw as a right-handed golfer, start right, come back to target, you see it curve, and it's the shot people kind of, oh, I'd love to draw the ball. Work on these drills, you'll do it. Start with number 1, the baseball swing. Get the feeling of that movement. Straight away, I don't see anybody when I do this drill with them ever come in and sort of do this. They straight away go, yeah, I can do that, I can rotate that. So straight away they've got the shot. Number 2, practice off a ball above your feet. Really good fun. Gives you the confidence you can hit off awkward lies as well. So that's really important. Number 3, the severe drill. Back to target. Get the feel of that sort of loop, as we're saying, into your swing to understand it feels like you're going up steeper, you're coming down shallower. to get the desired result. And then drill number 4, that little bit of fun. It's like a game, as we said, your own launch monitor. Feel like you put something out 6 or 7 paces ahead of you, see the ball start right of it. Ultimately, to start with, can you make it curve left of it? That would be lovely. And then, as I said, if you overdo it, that's absolutely fine. You can always quieten it back down. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you have, please subscribe to the channel. Well, also share it with your friends. And there's that little bell. If you do sort of become a subscriber, it will give you notifications when the next videos are coming out. And we send a couple of videos out every week. Look forward to seeing you soon.